lanes in the current meta. But Lulu is a very strong pick for certain AD carries that you want to pick. If you want to pick a more auto attack, a crit AD carry instead of maybe the Jhin or the Varus. But in all honesty, I expect them to be picked up in this draft. Graves also picked up. Very strong jungler at the moment.
Yeah, you were just talking a lot about that, and there's all these other options that all of these junglers have in the current meta. You want to talk on that just a little bit?
Well, for the junglers in this meta right now, the top three would be Graves, Rengar, and Kha'Zix. All three of them being incredibly powerful. None of them being banned out. And the Graves is definitely one you would pick to just like not get stomped down by the other two. The other two are extremely powerful, with Kha'Zix being number 1, Graves being number 2, and Rengar being number 3 after the nerfs. There was a lot of nerfs on both those champions on this patch, making it so that Graves is a top priority pick.
Yeah, also, definitely one. Yeah.
So both solo lanes being picked already, Aurelia and Echo, and it looks like Corki and Draven for the other side, potentially.
Yeah, there's a lot of different picks that are being hovered here, but you were talking a lot about these solo lanes being hovered over and also the jungle being locked in, which tells you a lot about this team. They just want to go, all right, we're just going to pick our picks. We're not going to be really prioritizing this bottom lane too early, and there's really no reason to. They have very strong solo laners, and they have a very strong jungler, so we'll put them on the priority picks very early on, and it will be basically just smooth sailing for them. But enough about that. You have 2 picks already going out over onto the side of off in the shower. You have the Fugnuller is going to be going onto this Corki, and Demoglio is going to be going onto the Jinx. Sorry.
This is where we talk about the crit AD carry coming in with the Lulu. Lulu can potentially save Jinx a lot of times in these team fights, and for blue side, they don't really have a strong frontliner that will keep the Jinx busy. So if this game does go to late, Jinx will be able to survive the burst from an Echo, a Graves, and potentially an Aurelia with Lulu. And even if that happens, they also have Corki, who, while has a slightly worse late game than most AD carries, in this situation, it won't be an issue. This red side's definitely looking to go late, especially with the Hecarim pick, who's extremely powerful in the late game.
Oh, 100%. You basically have the top 2 tier junglers that are being presented to us right now, Graves and Hecarim, probably the 2 most contested in solo queue right now, so hopefully they can come up huge in this game. But we have a lot more picks actually being picked out here. Again, the Hecarim being picked, and as well the Magic Conch is going to be pulling out the Blitzcrank and the Draven in the bottom lane. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, the Draven and the Blitzcrank, it is a strong lane, because as soon as you get pulled, you are going to have to burn a summoner spell in this bottom lane. There's no way that a Jinx or a Lulu can stand up to a Draven Blitzcrank if one of them gets hooked. Somebody's going to have to blow something, and if that happens, bot lane's just going to roll over. Jinx does not have the best laning phase, especially against Draven, who in the current meta is seeing a lot of play. He's in all honesty, he's a pretty good pick. He's definitely not as good as the Varus and the Jhin, but with the nerfs to lethality on this patch, he's definitely coming more in the forefront.
Yeah, another champion that also has been seeing a little bit of play has been that Kog'Maw, which Demoglio actually hovered over, but not actually going to lock that in. But we have 3 minutes before we actually get into game here. So, Rezenkin, talk to me a little bit about these 2 team comps and what they actually want to do to win this game. Let's actually start off with Elite 8 over on the blue side.
Well, Elite 8 has a very strong mid game with an Aurelia spiking with a Trinity Force and potentially one more item. A Grave sitting on his jungle item, plus a Black Cleaver will just shred through any team. And Echo, there's many different builds you can go with Echo, but with the most common ones of Proto Belt and Azanias, you can definitely cause a lot of havoc, especially to an immobile AD carry such as Jinx. So, in all honesty, this blue side team, they want to use their pressure that they will get in the mid game to force objectives and potentially win team fights. The problem is they won't have a strong front line, especially with the Blitzcrank. He's not the best frontliner. So in the mid game, the Rumble, the Hecarim, and will just tear right through a team like that with an Equalizer and a Hecarim ulti. And with the AoE coming in from Jinx and Corki, I feel that the red team actually has the better draft this game. They can definitely put down more damage from a longer range in a more safe way than the blue
Yep.
team can.
Yeah, I
But
also want to.
this
Sorry.
top lane's versatile. This top lane's versatile. If Kante gets rolled over, then
Hmm.
it's going to be a really big issue for the red team.
Yeah, you're 100% correct, but you were talking a lot about team comps over on off in the shower, and it honestly looks like, from my perspective, that they have a lot of wombo combo. You want to talk about that?
Well, yeah, definitely. A Rumble ulti coming on top of a Hecarim ulti, also
Yeah.
having a Lulu ulti on top. So a Hecarim ulti fearing everybody, with a
Mm.
Lulu ulti knocking them all up into a Jinx rocket and a Rumble equalizer, a team will get decimated by that, especially in the mobile, especially with the three sort of immobile champions that they do have.
Mm.
Irelia, Blitzcrank, and Draven, who can all get demolished by a combo such as that.
Yeah, 100%. You also got to talk about this Corki package and how it could actually be so impactful in these different fights. If comboed correctly, then it can just be so impactful. If Corki can't really find anything once he gets those packages, then I feel like the team fight is just going to go so south. But we're almost at that spectator delay. Off of this, are you still going with your gut feeling saying that Off the Shower is a better draft?
I honestly feel that Off in the Shower definitely has a greater chance of winning this game than the blue team, but we'll have to see if the mechanical skill or just the raw talent of Elite 8 is going to be able to overcome the slightly worse draft that they put themselves in.
All right, guys, we're going to be heading on into the loading screen, but stay tuned because you got Elite 8 versus Off in the Shower, game number 3 of the night. Guys, do not go anywhere. This is going to be so much fun to watch. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 3 of this best of 5 series. We have Elite 8 over onto the blue side versus Off the Shower on the red side. My name is TheSavedOne, doing your play-by-play commentary, and I am joined by my color caster, Rizankin. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you, TheSavedOne?
Nice. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Let's run through these teams. Over on the blue side, we have Elite 8. Boston on the top lane playing that Irelia. Rusty 1-3-2-1 playing that Graves. King Charizard playing that Echo in the mid lane. Atlas and the Magic Conch playing that bot lane duo.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see a lot of action in this bot lane early with Draven and Blitzcrank. A very aggressive lane, essentially able to shut down Jinx before she even gets started.
Yeah, and you're already seeing that early game aggression actually go down there. Each team is actually traveling as a pack. Magic Conch going to be actually spotted out, unfortunately. Hopefully, he may be actually trying to find a hook here. He's going to be finding the hook onto Fugnuggler. Fugnuggler going to be taking freakishly low. He's going to also be getting exhausted, but the Jinx Rockets are coming out in the early game, and they're doing a lot of damage to the back line. Thing is, there's not a lot of early game CC coming out from either one of these teams. Atlas actually taking freakishly low. Demaglio trying to fire as many rockets as possible. Atlas getting one stack. Atlas as well going to be taken pretty low. You have the hook coming out from the Magic Consig. Forced to flash out there, but off of that, there was a lot of flashes. Wasn't any kills though.
It is a bit surprising that no kills went down there.
Yeah.
In all honesty, both teams did have some strong level 1s, but nobody got anything. Some summoners blown across the board on each side. More blown for the blue team for Elite 8 than Off in the Shower.
Yeah, and you also have to look at basically what got burned there. You already saw that the Rumble used this flash TP into the top lane. Nothing else actually being used from his team, though. But over onto the side of Elite 8, you have that flash from the Blitzcrank and the Graves, which can actually mean a lot in this early game.
Yeah, with no escape on a Graves besides his E, if he does get caught out by Hecarim early, it could be disastrous. He could get run down by the Ghost and lose a lot of pressure that he could have had otherwise.
100%. But other than that, nothing much is going to be taken into any Or no more summer spells are going to be taken other than those, but going lane by lane just a little bit here in this early game, you have this bot lane of Draven, Blitzcrank versus Jinx and Lulu. This is going to be a very explosive bot lane. Tell me a little bit more about these.
Well, honestly, right now, both sides have hit level 2.
Yeah.
And the Lulu and the Jinx do have the range advantage, but if a hook does land, which it did not there, landed on a minion, they can win. But right here, you see that they're going to lose this trade.
Atlas is going to be catching all of the actions that he actually can, but that's going to be the first blood going over onto the Lulu. Magic Conch is going to try and do whatever he can to actually get out. And there was a really actually good reason as to why Demaglio and D-Boom went in onto that Draven there.
Exhaust was down, I believe. Oh, the hook was down, but besides that, I think Exhaust was also on cooldown by Blitzcrank.
Magic Con's going to be getting a hook there. Not going to happen.
Yeah,
nothing much going to happen here.
Exhaust was up for off in the shower, and they took advantage of the fact that they knew that Blitzcrank did not have it.
Yeah.
Allowing them to just win that trade easily. Both AD carries going heal, but with an Exhaust on Draven, he just can't keep up with the damage from a Jinx.
Yeah, and I feel like Off in the Shower can continue to bully the bot lane of Elite there in Elite 8 there as much as they want now. It's very easy for them to kind of abuse the fact that Blitzcrank doesn't have that flash available, so if Blitzcrank does end up missing a hook again, then I feel like that's a very good opportunity there in the bot lane to maybe try and capitalize on. Yeah.
And the way the waves have pushed here, you'll notice that Demaglio already has the CS lead, but now that the wave is pushing towards him, he'll get so much more CS than Atlas will. And that could lead to a major issue. But already, he does have a small item lead with a dagger. It's not much, honestly. The combat effectiveness isn't as much as, say, a longsword would be at the time. But Jinx really doesn't have good building paths. And you see Graves sitting down here. He has no other jungle to clear besides that scuttle. So, just sitting there, he's looking for something. Here goes
Magic Conch going to be going in here, going to be trying to find a hook. He actually ends up finding it onto D-Boom. That's going to be a kill going on over to the Graves, and that's exactly what he wants here in this early game.
Yeah, that's actually great. Doing a full clear on Graves into a kill must be one of the best feelings, because once you full clear your jungler, kind of sitting there wondering like, how can I not be useless here? And generally most of the time you look for getting a gank, and when it doesn't work out, you just feel like you wasted your time.
Oh, 100%. Here in the top lane, you see that Consig is abusing the amount of damage that Rumble does here in this early game. We were talking a lot about that in Champion Select, but you see that Echoes here in this top lane is going to be placing down that W, is going to be going in. He does not have that ultimate though. That's one dead Consig. He's going to be trying to find a kill onto Blastona, but not actually going to find it though. Rusty's here in the river, maybe going to be taken down. Yes, he will by Find Your Way here on this Hecarim. That's going to be the dragon, potentially actually going over onto the side of Off in the Shower.
And there you see the repercussions of the level 1. Consig and Rusty 1321, neither of them had flash there, and they both got punished for it. Consig overextending at the top lane, getting ganked by King Charizard, and Rusty being in the wrong place at the wrong time. His bot lane wasn't there, and they Find Your Way, and his bot lane collapsed on him. And you know, oh, good hook.
Oh, that's going to be a hook by the Magic Conch here onto the Jinx. You see that Atlas is trying to follow up. Not going to happen, though. That was a really nice hook, like you said, but they cannot find anything off of that.
Yeah, and it does give a small chunk onto the Jinx, but in reality, it doesn't really do much. Right now, lane is pretty even. There's a small CS lead to Demaglio.
Magic Conch trying to find a hook onto the Jinx there, but you see Fognugger's found himself in a kind of a weird position. He's going to be getting a kill onto that Grave. Exhaust going to be being dropped onto King Charizard. He's going to be getting slowed from the Q, but he's going to be flashed away. He's going to E, and then all of a sudden, that's Fognugger being taken down there. That's a 1-for-1 trade going down over onto both teams.
And that was a little surprising. It is it is good that Fugnugler did pick up a kill in Retribution on that 2v1. Actually in the bot lane.
Ooh, there's going to be a hook onto D-Boom here in the bot lane, and they can fully get this kill. But the thing is, Polymorph is just way too strong. You also see in the top lane, Consig is fighting Blastona. Blastona is very, very low on mana. It's going to be a flash out by Consig. But you also see that Hecarim is coming up into the top lane for maybe a re-engage. Consig cannot actually go in and try and tank the amount of damage that Blastona is doing, so he's gonna have to back off there. You also see that Graves is chasing down that Hecarim with the follow-up from the Echo, so that if Hecarim does try and do something as well in the ball lane, that's gonna be a knock-up, and it's also gonna be maybe a hook. Not gonna have enough mana for that, though. That's the flash coming out from the Jinx there. There's action going all across the board here in this game.
And honestly, the bot lane there's not going to be a lot happening now that they've run out of mana a bit, and they're going to have to recall. But you're seeing the advantage that the Draven is getting from being able to purchase double longsword. While that's not what he would ideally want, it's still better than having just the dagger from the Jinx.
100%. You also see in the bot lane here, Magic Conch and Atlas trying to play mind games with the enemy bot lane. I feel like Demoglio thought,
they have this. They have
this. The hook's gonna be actually going out. D-Boom's gonna be getting exhausted on. Atlas is actually taking a lot more damage. He's gonna be flashing in, going a 1-for-1 trade. But the thing is that actually enough? Jinx is actually going to be taking very, very low by the ultimate of Blitzcrank. That's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. And I feel like that was just a little bit more worth over on the side of Off and Shower.
Honestly, that was such an unfortunate set of events there for Atlas. He got caught by the traps, and what is it? He got caught by the traps, and he dropped his axe. He couldn't kill him.
Fugnugler going to be taken very, very low. That's 2 ticks actually coming over, but he's not going to actually find the kill onto Fugnugler. Rusty's going to be coming over and trying to almost kind of steal the kill or just secure the kill off of the death from his own mid laner. King Charizard cannot find that third auto attack, and he was very scared to actually go into that bush.
King Charizard had that. He had the HP advantage, but he just he couldn't commit. He's too scared. And now you see Rusty going into the top lane versus Consig.
Rusty in that top lane. He's trying to find a kill for himself, but that equalizer doing so much damage. He has that overheat over on Consig,
and
he's gonna be getting a kill
for
himself, and he can very easily get out, like you just said, just because of how mobile Consig is here in this top lane. He's gonna be picking up a kill for himself. Graves is going to be taking even more behind in this game.
It's honestly extremely unfortunate that happened. Rumble is, if you remember back to the days of Season 3, maybe of PDD, the original Rumble player from China, he was doing that consistently back in the day, and you have to be scared of Rumble. Rumble can 2v1 a jungler and a top laner. It's possible.
Yeah, and
the amount of AoE damage.
There was no way for Blastona to actually do anything there. Find Your Way is actually going to be going into the top lane, trying to find something onto Blastona. That's going to be the E actually connecting there. Consig, he has that overheat, but that's going to be the flash over the wall from Blastona, going to be getting out very safely. But this, it does mean a lot for the top laner.
I see a fight going down the bot lane.
Yeah, there's going to be a fight in the block lane. Magic Conch is actually going to be hooking in B-Doom. That's going to be the ultimate actually coming out from Atlas. He's going to be picking up 1 kill for himself. That's going to be the second one because the spinning axe just kept on spinning. Double kill going over onto the bot lane of Elite 8.
And now you see the benefit of having an AD carry who uses lethality.
Yeah.
And Draven with a serrated Dirk and double longsword is always going to beat out a Jinx with only attack speed items. In all honesty, Demoglio made a major error going for double attack speed instead of a BF. But here you see Corky coming bot.
That's the package coming in for Fugnugler, who's going to be getting a shutdown kill over on to the Draven. But then you also see that Rusty's going to be coming into the bot lane, getting a kill for himself. It gives him a little bit of gold, but it was a little bit more worth for the Corky.
He gave up a lot there for that, and he gives up pressure on mid as well as the farm, but he does have a sizable lead. So it's not too big of an issue, but top lane, he's gonna lose this.
Gonna be going in. Consig's got that over. He is not gonna be enough though. That's the equalizer coming out for Consig. There's not actually gonna be a finisher from Blastone. All he needed to do was auto attack there, but he was kind of scared to even try and approach Consig.
He had the Hex Drinker. He would have been able to pick up the kill, but he overestimated the damage that would come out from the equalizer.
Yep.
The Hex Drinker absorbed all of it.
Yeah, it was a really good, I guess, play by Consig there, just in a sense, just right click out. But I mean, Blastona, he didn't really know his damage there in the top lane, which kind of puts you just a little bit more behind. But taking a wider look at this game, it's 12 minutes into the game, 7-7, and the gold lead is only 1K. Find your way is going to be in the bot lane. He's going to be trying to kill Atlas just a little bit more. That's the Super Mega Death Rocket going to be going and dropping onto that Draven. Nothing can actually be finding there in the bot lane though.
No, Find Your Way did not commit to that. It's a good idea. He knew that Draven had heals. Not much he could do there.
Yeah.
But honestly, this game is still extremely close. There's only a 1K lead to the side of Elite 8, and it's mostly due to the farm leads. And the farm lead for top lane, as well as a small farm lead for jungle. And bot lane, you know, Draven stacks do, like, once he pops his stacks, that is free gold given to the team that the Draven is on, which could boost the amount of gold lead that they do have.
Yeah, right now you see Hecarim in the enemy jungle trying to find an assassin style play, maybe onto the mid lane here. Fugnunger, he's got that damage boost of his passive. So he's just going to be getting that tower. That's the first tower of the game, which gives you a heck of a lot of gold. Fugnunger going to be trying to actually go aggressive here. He's got a lot of rockets, but Rusty's saying, look, man, I got your back. We can maybe try and fight this if possible, but both lanes are just going to be trying to reset there in the bot lane. Again going to be getting hooked in. That's the exhaust going in onto the support. And then the ADC, I was going to be getting a kill for himself. Demoglio being taken freakishly low. You got Consig there in the bot lane, as well as Hecarim. That's going to be a double kill over for Consig, picking himself up 2 kills in that bot lane.
B-Doom, it was a great teleport from Consig, getting the equalizer onto both of them. But B-Doom just did not use his ultimate. That could have been a 2 for 0 there. But he must have fat fingered, or just didn't press it. But I'm surprised.
I believe Blitzcrank ulted, which I think silences. So at that point, Lulu couldn't really ult there in the bot lane. But regardless, it's something that they really need to actually look out for, because B-Doom has actually been getting hooked a lot in that bot lane recently.
Yeah, he has been, and dragon does go over. 2 dragons have gone over to off in the shower now, an Infernal and an Ocean. The next one, another Ocean, and thankfully it's not an Infernal for the Boost team, honestly. So here's the fight top lane.
But yeah, you see Blastona trying to do something onto VR Consig. Rusty's as well going to be trying to apply the damage. The end of the line not going to be actually connecting. King Charizard going to be finding a kill onto the Hecarim. That's 1 dead Horsey, and now Echo going to be picking up another kill for himself, which actually means a lot. Magic Con's going to be trying to find a hook, and he finds it onto Demoglio. That's a heck of a lot of damage over on Atlas there in the bot lane, but more action in the top lane. Fugnunger going to be actually getting exhausted, but he has so much damage, actually not going to find a kill onto Rusty there. Rusty going to be just resetting King Charizard. He's now sitting 3-1-1 on that Echo.
And honestly, he's starting to make this Echo pick work. It is mobile, and it does have a lot of damage once it picks up 1 or 2 more items. But going back to bot lane, again, B-Doom didn't use his ultimate.
Yeah.
In the greater scheme of things, it didn't seem like he would save him, but
there's gonna be a fight in the blue side. Blue jungle, Find Your Way, gonna actually try and just get his own blue buff, but the bot lane pressure is way too strong. Atlas with his own Blitzcrank is just gonna be going over onto that blue buff, gonna be getting that for himself. Blastona as well in that top lane. He got that top lane tower, and then he's gonna be getting out safely.
Yeah, and in all honesty, it's a little surprising to the fact that Elite 8 has been putting up the towers. They have 2 towers down, giving them the gold lead at the moment, and they are 1 tower up. But the bot lane, for off in the shower is clearly a major weakness, with both Jinx and Lulu not doing very well in the early game, but
Yeah.
being extremely powerful in their own rights in the late game.
Yeah, Jinx is starting to get those items you were just talking a lot about, just power spikes in general. Fugnuggler is actually going to be packaging into the fight. Magicons is forced to actually go over that VR constant. He has that overheat. Blitzcrank's pulling him in. That's going to be a double kill. Going over onto the Graves here in this game, making him 4-3-2.
Beautiful end of the line. It was a beautiful stun by King Charizard, but in the end, he doesn't pop his ultimate to survive, potentially getting out of that. But here's Hecarim coming in.
Hecarim going to be going into the fight, trying to find a kill onto Rusty. Can he find it? I believe he can, but Atlas as well going to be actually getting chased down by Demoglio here. That's one kill for Demoglio. That's one kill for Find Your Way as well. Rusty going to be picking up a kill for himself. This is just endless TDM here in this game.
Honestly, and Atlas could have very well picked up a kill there, another kill there, but he did get exhausted by B-Doom, stopping him from, and even through the exhaust, he did get the Jinx extremely low.
Yeah, we were talking a lot about power spikes, and Jinx is one of those characters that definitely has a lot of power spikes. And if you look at her items, she's starting to get to that point where she has her Runon's Hurricane, and this is the point where she has her BF Sword. She just needs a little bit more gold to get that final item, the IE. That's what she really does need to actually pop off in these fights.
She needs the IE. An IE and a Runon's will definitely allow you to potentially get resets, especially with the team that they have drafted. The issue here is that there's just no way for her to generate this gold unless they start winning team fights. She won't have an IE for another potentially 5 minutes, and you know Draven could already have another BF sword at that point. And, you know, there's no way that the Jinx would be able to out damage the Draven in a team fight if he does, if she does not get an IE soon.
We also have to notice just Draven and Jinx as champions and just solo what they can actually do. And Draven has a lot of single target damage, while Jinx has a lot of AoE style damage. You see Find Your Way actually maybe getting a pick onto Rusty here. Echo is right beside Rusty, so nothing is actually going to happen. Atlas is trying to find a kill onto B-Doom, but Find Your Way is going to be ulting onto Atlas, but he has the movement speed, he has the kite potential. That's a lot of damage coming out from Demoglio. He's going to pick himself up one kill. He's going to be going crazy here. That's 2 kills for himself. Atlas is going to be taking freakishly though. He's going to be actually flashed on by Demoglio. That's a triple kill. Going over onto the ADC of Off in the Shower. Final kill. He's VR Consig is actually going to be trying to find that onto the Echo. That's a 4-for-0 trade for Off in the Shower.
And a beautiful polymorph from B-Doom seals the fate of Atlas. Being stuck as like a tiny little bunny while a Hecarim charges at you is not what you want. He's forced to blow his flash and his heal at the very beginning of the fight. And, you know, it really leads Demoglio to starting to pick up kills as the rest of the team tries to charge in to help him, and Demoglio just starts rampaging through with the AoE. But they're setting up a death rush when they should have recalled to potentially get this dragon.
Yeah, there's a lot of options here, but they're opting to go for this bush-style camp. King Charizard going to be getting polymorphed here. He's going to be getting taken down by Fugnuggler. The rest of Elite 8 as well in hot pursuit, or they're getting chased on in a sense. We also see Blastone being taken freakishly low. Atlas being exhausted on Magicon's going to be going for a hook, but can't actually find it. Find Your Way, going to be pressing that E to speed up, but not going to actually find anything off of that though. It's a lot of low members over onto the side of Elite 8. That's the ultimate from Draven going to be coming out as well. Magicon's going to be trying to find a hook onto Demoglio or B-Doom. They've been running into hooks all game, but not actually going to run into that one. Next objectives. There's so many options here for Off in the Shower.
And honestly, if you look at the itemization for Off in the Shower, they are hitting these power spikes. Rumble already has a Rylai's, a Liandry's completed, and almost Azanya's, while Hecarim has his Trinity Force, and Corki just hit his second item spike with a rapid fire cannon. And Jinx is honestly sitting on a lot of gold right now.
Yes. Yeah, we were talking a lot about power spikes, and just to touch on that just again, she's getting even that much closer to her major power spikes, and just seeing in that last team fight how much damage she can actually do. It's absolutely immense here at 21 minutes into the game. That's going to be the Ocean Dragon going over onto the side of Off in the Shower, and this is a really good dragon for them to get.
Yeah, honestly, another Ocean Drake will allow them to harass more and sustain while they fight. Jinx, Corki, neither of them have lifesteal, but here goes Corki with the package.
Ooh, that's the package into the fight. Fugnog are going to try and find something there find your way, going to find a kill onto Atlas. That's the hook coming in from the Magic Conch. Fugnog is going to be getting exhausted, but that's the big boy going to be coming in with that ultimate. You have the Graves over onto the right. And also the Echo actually trying to flank there onto the backline. You have Jinx and Lulu there in that bot lane. Rusty going to be trying to find something onto VR Consig. That's going to be the exhaust actually being dropped down onto Find Your Way. Find Your Way going to be getting taken freakishly low. He's going to have to pop that Ghost. But that's Rusty trying to find the auto attacks. Every single auto attack is very crucial here. That's going to be the burn, the smite going down onto VR Consig. Nothing going to be actually found at the end of that little skirmish though.
No, and they were outnumbered 3-2. Oh my lord.
That's the big rocket going in onto that Graves. I couldn't find the name for that though. But that's going to be a tower plus a kill going over onto Demoglio. That was insane. That was a beautiful snipe.
This Jinx has to be sitting on major gold.
Yeah.
Major gold. How much gold is this Jinx sitting on right now?
I don't know what keystroke it is to change from your normal item sets to the gold, how much gold each champion has, but I'm guessing it's a lot. And she instantly picked up that IE, she picked up the IE, she picked up an extra BF sword, which means a lot. That's all I have to say. There's just a lot of gold going in over onto this Jinx here in this game, and we're talking a lot about Jinx as a champion, and she's doing just so much in these team fights.
Honestly, yeah, but it's a little surprising also that Snuggler does not have boots at all.
Oh, 23 minutes, buddy.
I mean, if you're flying around, I don't think you need boots, honestly. Well, he doesn't need shoes in his craft.
Yeah, it's a little bit of jitters. You're in a playoff game. It's your final game. You want to close this out. And your team, you're 2 wins down. So you got to win 3 in a row, which can be very stressful for a player if you've never really been in this situation before. So Corki definitely trying to do whatever he can to actually try and carry this game to the best potential. Magic Conch actually going to be going and trying to actually find a hook. Or just trying to apply some pressure onto this Lulu, just knowing how impactful this Blitzcrank has been as a champion in this game.
Yeah, and now that we're moving further into the game, there is a 3.5k gold lead for Off in the Shower.
Yeah.
And with the item breakpoints that they just hit, Jinx did not even recall in these last few fights, and she's...
Blastona going to be getting caught out here in the top lane. That's the overheat. That's the equalizer going to be coming out for him. Demoglio going to be picking up his 7th kill in the game plus a tower.
And another kill for the Jinx. And she, especially with only 2 crit items, but a Harbinger is being built by the Lulu.
Yep.
It's incredibly power if that pops. 100% crit will just demolish a team fight, especially with Jinx. And if they get slowed, especially with this red buff.
Oh, that's going to be the hook. Oh my, that was freakishly close. If he can get that hook, then that would have been a crazy team fight that actually got broken out. Demoglio actually going into the front line saying, you guys cannot... Oh, that was such a close rocket. Almost being taken down. Just little health bars being left for that Graves.
Small health bars. And honestly, the red team, Elite 8 could have jumped onto that Jinx right there. They had the numbers advantage. People were often... 2 members of Off in the Shower were on the right, and only the Jinx and Lulu were left. They could have just ran them down, especially with Jinx getting that close to Graves. That should never happen.
Yeah, it's just at those points you just need to capitalize on those different types of mistakes, and that's the one thing that's actually going to get Off in the Elite 8 back into this game. Just those little pick opportunities, but 26 minutes into the game, you have a 5k lead going over onto Off in the Shower, and there's a really good reason for that.
Yeah, they've been working extremely hard. Their team fighting has been immaculate. The Rumble ultimates from Consig, beautiful this game. And just nobody's able to get onto the Jinx. Nobody's focusing the Jinx, and even if they did, they have Lulu. I honestly, Elite Eight did not capitalize on the fact that they had this. They had the stronger AD carry in their early game, and now it's going to be increasingly difficult for them to win in the late game versus a double AD carry composition with a very strong champion in Rumble.
Yeah, Magic Con's gonna be actually finding a hook onto VR Consig. That's one dead rat there in his little machine. Fugnuggler still has his package available. Rusty gonna be taken down as well. That's one member down for each of the teams. Can each of the teams actually do something? Fugnuggler, the package actually ran out there. That's gonna be the parallel convergence actually coming back. But that's a lot of kills going over onto the side of both teams. You have the Draven actually going crazy. That's Demaglio picking up one, picking up two, picking up his third. Hopefully, King Charizard going to be taken down with ease. That's 3 kills going over onto Demaglio. Super Mega Death Rocket actually going to be missing over onto Blastona. That's 4 down for Elite 8 here in the third game.
And again, Elite 8 engages the 4v5, but nobody was able to get onto Demaglio. You saw Blitzcrank flashing into
Blastona gonna be trying to find something of his own. Gonna be trying to get a kill onto Demaglio. VR Consig saying, bro, I got your back. We can very easily take out that Irelia with ease. There's 2 towers that stand in the way of Off in the Shower's victory here in this game, and it's very hard to basically just say no, we cannot end, but we have to go for other objectives here in this game. Magic Conch, he has that home guards, he pressed that W for the speed up, but not actually going to be finding a hook onto anybody though. That's going to be the Infernal Dragon, hopefully going over onto Off in the Shower.
And in all honesty, it was Blastona who stopped the game from ending right there, jumping onto Demaglio. If he hadn't done that and he just sat back, they could have ended the game right there.
Yeah. And if not ended the game, he could have taken at least 1 tower.
Yeah, it's still extremely close, but in all honesty, now that they've just accrued another 3K lead in gold, it's looking extremely grim, especially for this Graves. He's not going to be able to get anything done in these team fights.
Yeah, they went mid lane. They had an explosive team fight. They got a little bit of a lead. They got that inhibitor. They almost got one of the Nexus towers down, but Blastona actually suiciding for the own cause of his team, which was really good, like you were just saying. But this is the one point where Off in the Shower really does need to come together and get their shot calling on point. It's been good so far, but all of these objectives stand. But what does Off in the Shower really want to go for here in this game?
In all honesty, they don't need to go for the Baron. They can just sit and siege a tower. They have the double AD carry, they have the poke, and if they do get engaged on, they have the counter engage from a Rumble Equalizer, as well as the Hecker multi. And the Onslaught of Showers will definitely stop and engage and potentially disrupt the attempted kill onto Demaglio, who is the forefront carry for this team.
Yeah, and you also see that Fugnuggler is here in the mid lane, just applying whatever he can, but that's going to be Off in the Shower, actually going to be going in onto that Baron. But it's a really good bait here by Fugnuggler, and the exhaust is going to be getting dropped onto Atlas, but that's one dead human in a little helicopter. That's going to be the Baron going over onto the side of Off in the Shower, and they have a beeline straight for the top lane.
There is no way for Elite 8 to clear these waves. Their wave clear is dependent on Echo Qs, and Echo Qs are not going to do anything versus these minions here. They're just going to walk right into this. They still have the Onslaught of Shower, the Onslaught of Shadows, and the Equalizer, and Jinx Rocket getting thrown out there.
Yeah, he's just trying to take Atlas low enough, and we saw that a little bit in a couple games ago where the Jhin actually curtain called to get the members off of that tower. So this, by actually using that Super Mega Death Rocket, it gets Atlas off of that to apply, or to kind of leave a little bit of pressure for this top lane tower. You see that Draven's actually going to be going into the mid lane, but that's going to be a hook from the Magic Conch onto VR Consig. None of his team actually want to follow up, just knowing how strong Off in the Shower's team is at this point in the game.
Yeah, Off in the Shower definitely respecting Elite 8 though. Knowing it was a 4v5, they did not want to push them off of the minion wave, but once Corki starts coming back, I think, oh look,
That's going to be a hook on to Find Your Way. Is he also going to be using his ultimate? That's so freakishly close, and this team fight is just so close overall. But that's going to be Demaglio picking up 1 kill. He can hopefully pick up a second one. That's going to be the package coming into the fight. That's a double kill, and also a kill going on to Fugnuggler. That's a triple kill going in onto this Jinx. Demaglio going to be picking up his triple kill. That's a double kill for the Corki. That's going to be an ace for Off in the Shower. Game number 3 going to be going over onto Off in the Shower, making this series 2-1.
And a good game from Off in the Shower to save themselves from utter defeat in a 3-0 fashion.
Yeah.
Elite 8 with a questionable draft. Definitely not
Yes.
going for a mid-game spike and then starting to lose the early game. Definitely not something you want to happen.
Yeah, you
For
were
team
touching 8 over here on the red side, and you have already the Hecarim, the Orianna, both of these getting banned out over onto the side of Elite 8.
Yeah, Orianna and Hecarim. The Hecarim, it's a little surprising that it's being banned from that previous game. It did not seem to have a large impact, but Elite 8 definitely seemed to think so.
Yeah, and that's going to be the third ban actually coming out from Trendemir. But here in this draft, you already see that the first pick is going to be going over onto Consig. So, who do you think he's actually going to be picking here? I know the loop's being locked in.
Well,
I should have asked that question earlier, but sorry.
Well, Lulu being picked, it definitely, I think, off in the shower are realizing that Elite 8 could not capitalize on having the better early game, and so they're feeling that potentially they can pick another Lulu plus a hyper carry, leading them to being able to win in the late game again.
Yeah, B-Doom there in the bot lane, once he actually got his ADC going, did wonders for his team. Blastone going to actually respond with that Rumble pickup, and Rusty going to be going on to, I believe it's one of his comfort picks, is going to be Vi there in the jungle.
And honestly, I really like these first two picks already from Elite 8. The Rumble is the best top laner, and Vi can shut down a hyper carry with that ultimate. And honestly, it's a good draft already to potentially stop a hyper carry. Jace being picked up could be extremely good. And there you see the Jinx, a hyper carry being locked in, as well as the Jace. And honestly, I feel already that the draft from off in the shower is just great. They have a clear way to win already. They have a strong mid game from a Jace, and then a very strong late game from a Jinx. And Elite 8 doesn't have a tank, and it doesn't look like they will draft one unless Magic Conch picks a Braum or something. But Jace versus a squishy lineup is like, it's a dream come true for the Jace.
Oh yeah, there's already 4 picks going over onto the side of Elite 8 that, again, are very squishy, like you said. You have that Misfortune. Swain gets a little bit tanky coming into that late game. But guys, just to let you know, once again, if you guys are wondering why the bans actually got lost, over on the side of Off in the Shower, they had to pull in, I believe it was 2 emergency subs, plus they were late. So at that point, all 3 bans just get taken away from them. But going back to the pick phase, you have the Swain and the Misfortune going over onto the side of Elite 8.
Yeah, and Swain has been seen sometimes in the top lane, not in the mid lane though. There could definitely be better picks, but Jace versus Swain, I don't know enough about the matchup to say, but it doesn't look like Jace can capitalize on his very strong laning versus Swain. And then MF just leads to the sort of wombo combo with the Rumble.
Yeah, it's going to be a very explosive style mid lane. I'm definitely very excited to see what these two champions can actually do to each other. But moving on into this draft, you have the Corki again coming over onto Fugnuggler there in the mid lane. And you also have the Zac going to be going over onto Find Your Way in the jungle.
Yeah, so I was a little presumptuous with the Jace going mid. It is actually going to be a top lane Jace versus the Rumble. And that matchup is 50-50, I feel. Or Jace will win out early, but Rumble can definitely bring it back with some good equalizers. But again, this often Elite 8 lacks a strong tank. Vi will most likely be going for a Trinity Force or 1 damage item, and then into tank. But in the mid game, when it really matters, when Corki and Jace really hard spike, they're not gonna have a front line to deal with them.
And if you get Zac in there in those fights, then he's going to be kind of that tank pressure, like you were saying, that Elite 8 are lacking a tank here in this game, and Jace strives for those different moments to just apply as much damage as possible. So now we have a 3-minute delay, which means these guys are going to be getting into the game, they're going to be battling it out, but we have to sit here and we got to analyze each of these different comps and what they can actually do. Starting off Off in the Shower, what do they need to do to get ahead in this game and close out the game in general?
In all honesty, they just need to farm out for like the first 15 minutes or so. If they just farm it out, Jace will have a Yomu's plus another serrated Dirt. Corki will have a Triforce, and Jinx, based on the Maglio's build last game, he'll have a Runans plus BF sword, and at that stage, they can definitely take over a team fight. The Ace poke plus Corki poke, and then a Jinx with resets could definitely just shut down this Elite 8 lineup, especially if they don't have the tank items they need to survive.
Yeah, and we just discussed what Off in the Shower really does need to do to get into this game and close it out, but we still got 2 minutes. So, Rezenkin, take me over what Elite 8 need to do to get ahead in this early game and close out the game in general.
Elite 8, they need Rusty to find ganks onto top lane and onto bot lane. The Jinx is immobile. Thresh and Vi could definitely shut her down with good hooks and good vault breakers. And shutting down the Jinx is the first step to winning this game.
Yeah.
As well as the Jace. Those are the 2 key components in this team comp. Jace with the poke, 1 EQ combo will send an 80 carry to less than half. And, you know, it's very difficult for an MF to do anything if she's at 600 HP at the start of a team fight.
Sorry, go ahead.
Elite 8 does have a strong Wombo or a strong AoE damage team with the MF ulti as well as the Make It Rain and Swain's ult and Rumble's ult, plus some single target damage with the Vi. So in team fights, they're not something to be scoffed at either.
Yeah, if Elite 8 can actually find those jungle fights, just get in there, use the equalizer, and then the MF ulti, that's when it can become so detrimental for Off in the Shower, and it's almost kind of when you just need to take a step back and say, all right, guys, what are we doing wrong here? What do we need to basically do to win this game overall? This is going to be a very close game, as I would think. But tell me just a little bit about these jungle matchups. Where do they need to actually focus to get their teams ahead?
Well, Zach generally in this game definitely just wants to counter gank the Vi. He needs to track the Vi and make sure that his lanes don't fall behind. In a setting where both these teams are even in gold, I feel that Off in the Shower will pull out ahead. And for Vi, she just needs to find these openings. She needs to get the creative ganks off and, you know, just shut down the top and bot side of the map.
Yeah, we're going to be heading on into the loading screen, guys, but do not go anywhere. We have game number 4 of Off in the Shower versus Elite 8 coming up right after this small loading screen. Guys, stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 4 of Off in the Shower versus Elite 8. My name is TheSavedOne, doing your play-by-play commentary, and joined with me, I have Rezenkin doing that color casting. And Rezenkin, we were talking a lot about in champion selections what these teams actually need to do. Off of those drafts, though, who do you think actually has the better comp?
Honestly, I feel that Off in the Shower again pulls ahead in the draft. They have 2 major AD damage sources with Jace and Jinx, both of them scaling very well as a Corki to give the magic damage. But Elite 8 does not have a true tank. It's going to be extremely difficult for them to deal with the amount of damage that will come out from Off in the Shower.
Yeah, and this is going to be just a normal start from both of these teams. We're not going to be seeing any real bush camp, but there is going to be a little bit of an entrance camp by the Vi, MF, and Thresh there in the entrance to the river. But other than that, It's just going to be a normal start. Last game, I believe we saw an invade and there was a little bit of an explosive fight, but now both junglers are going to be starting in that bot side. And there's two things that junglers can do, or there's two reasons why junglers can actually start in this bot lane. Is because one is because you can maybe find some opportunities if you do start bottom side, or they just want that extra leash.
Yeah, honestly, the thing is, in the current meta, usually it's the top side who do leash because bot lane, the level 2 is so important. And I feel that Rusty should be starting on top side this game. You know, Jace is going to outpush the Rumble in the early game anyway, so it wouldn't really matter to him too much. And in the end, when he finishes his clear, he'll be on the bot side, potentially being able to gank this Jinx and Lulu.
Yeah, but anyways, we're going to be starting in that bot side jungler. All of these opportunities can open up for both of these junglers if given the opportunity. Minion's going to actually hit the lane, but there's also a very smart concept actually coming out from Consig here in this top lane. He's not going to actually go to lane early, which does mean a lot.
He did. So right here, Blastona getting the push lead on him. You know, usually Jace is able to do that, but getting sent back, I think it won't matter too much. He'll still get the push on once they both hit level 2 at the same time. Jace does have the stronger level 2, and you know it's not going to be too much of an issue. They'll both be getting around the same CS, and I think really the big story about this game is definitely going to be bot lane.
Oh yeah, there's already a little bit of poke actually going down to the bottom lane, but in the top lane there's a mini fight actually going on from VR Consig, but that's the overheat going to be the follow-up. Atlas actually being chunked down because he stepped into some of those traps. Nothing actually going to be blown out for him, but he is kind of falling low, and he has to use that one pot that he really is very dependent on.
Yeah, and both AD carry. Oh, hook.
The Magic Conch going to be finding a beautiful hook, and that's going to be a tower shot. The exhaust actually going to be going down onto B-Doom there in the bottom lane. Demonglio gets free reign onto this MF. Could she potentially pick up a kill? The answer is going to be no. Magic Conch actually going to be sticking onto Demonglio as well. There's a lot being traded in that bottom lane, but Atlas is forced to back. He does not have heal.
Yeah, and that was a good hook from Magic Conch, pulling him closer into the tower range, taking a tower shot.
In the mid
lane to be burned.
There's a lot of going on in the mid lane, a lot of poke, a lot of back and forth action, but also touching on this top lane, you have Zach trying to look for something as well in this top lane. He's trying to maybe look for early game gank onto this Rumble. We were saying a lot about that point. At this point, we're going to see the junglers go into the top lane.
Yeah, and right here, this is extremely bad for Atlas. He's forced to go back. And I was about to comment before that fight broke out, but both AD carries opted for the Doran's one pot start. In recent times, the longsword 3 pots has been
Magic Conch going to be actually finding a hook onto Demonglio here. Atlas is going to be getting the exhaust drop in onto him, but the thing is, B-Doom, you have that flash available. He's actually going to be going in onto the make it rain. He's got that second shot, but the shield is actually going to be healing him in the end. That was so freakishly close going in onto that bottom lane.
It was extremely close there, but I feel that they should have focused more onto the Lulu. She was already further behind than the Jinx. They could have picked up that kill if they swapped targets. But right now, Demonglio again going for the dagger. And you know, he's probably gonna go for another Runon's Hurricane early. So he's gonna be fairly weak until he does get one damage item. Here you see Consig showing the power of Jace and why it's usually pick or ban.
Yeah, it's kind of weird as well because it actually made it to third rotation. Or no, I believe it was third rotation or just second rotation.
It was second rotation.
Second rotation for their own side, which usually isn't seen right now in the current meta just because of how strong Jace is.
Yeah, Jace is usually first pick worthy, but the Rumble in recent patches has been coming through. And it's showing that Blastona does favor that. Consig definitely did have a good Rumble last game with amazing ultimates on 2 backlines. Yeah,
so now at this point in the game, it's only 5 minutes into the game. Not really a huge gold lead going out for anybody. King Charizard basically just putting his foot down and saying, "This is my lane. You gotta back first, and I'm gonna basically just bully you out of this lane." VR Consig in that top lane, gonna be fighting that auto attack. That's gonna be the blast. He's going to be finding first blood, but in the bot lane, Demaglio going to be almost taken down. That's going to be the exhaust onto him. He does not have flash. He doesn't have that heal. Demaglio going to be taken down by Atlas there in the bot lane. That's a 1-for-1 trade for both teams.
Yeah, and Rusty doing exactly what he needs to do, shutting down this Jinx and abusing the fact that they have no Summoner Spells bot lane.
Yep.
Also, in top lane, here's the Jace we were talking about. Jace is definitely an extremely powerful pick in the current meta, and he shows the lane. Consig shows the lane dominance and his proficiency on the champion to get that solo kill on Bastona. First blood for Jace is amazing.
Yeah, and you can also see from his items, he has that Hex Shrinker. So at this point, if Jace doesn't get ganked, I don't think he can die.
No, but in all honesty, that Hex Shrinker is a little presumptuous, I feel. I don't think he needed the Hex Shrinker to even win a 1v1. With a serrated Dirk and another longsword, I feel he could so a serrated Dirk and 2 longswords, he'd be able to kill Rumble way before Rumble got close to killing him. But he's playing it safe, and you know, it's respectable. He's just trying to keep it safe.
Yeah. And you can obviously see that just from the games of these two top laners. VR Consig obviously is a very good top laner as well as Blastona. But at this point, when you have this style of a lead, you just want to say, all right, I want to play this safe. I'm going to get a very easy item. But here in this game, it's not really a huge gold lead going out, but it's 2 kills that definitely do mean a lot.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on the junglers right now. Rusty is level 6. Yeah, and he's played the top side right now, potentially to gank Consig, but Find Your Way is only level 5, and he's walking into bot side while he has his whole jungle up on top side. He's gonna fall behind.
And that's just basically decision making from this Zac here in this game, but you also see Rusty, he's clearing his topside jungle, which definitely means he wants to try and look for something here in the top lane. Blastona going to be getting that overheat, but just the poke damage from Jace, even though he doesn't have lethality, it's still crazy. That's insane damage.
That was
holy,
that was more than a third of HP, almost half there.
I'm so glad that's getting nerfed.
Nasty.
Is it? Yeah, they're taking it away. You don't get chunked as much anymore.
Yeah, oh yeah, let's just make ADCs weaker.
Basically.
Oh my god.
That's crazy, but that's going to be the hook coming up from the Magic Conch here in this bottom lane. Demaglio going to be maybe facing his demise as well. Magic Conch has to get healed there in the bottom lane. Atlas going to be taken low, but that's a 1-for-1 trade there in the top lane. There's going to be Consig versus Rusty and Blastona. Can he find anything? The answer is going to be no. That's going to be a 2-for-1 trade going in over onto the side of Elite 8. Yeah.
Atlas wanting to be a frontliner, diving that tower when exhaust was still up, and Demaglio honestly could have just kept walking away, and Atlas would have died to the tower. But a lot going on there, and there we were talking about how Rusty could go to topside to pick up the skill, and Find Your Way only just hitting level 6. Fight in the mid lane.
Ooh, fight in the mid lane. Double exhaust going to be going down. King Charizard is going to be putting a little bit more damage onto Fugnuggler. He's basically saying, I want this blue buff, and if you can give it to me, that'd be absolutely amazing. But nothing off of that, though.
Yeah, both these mid laners playing it fairly even. Small CS lead to Fugnuggler. Holy moly, that was half his HP.
That's crazy there in this game. Once I think that in the next fight, I think that can definitely mean a lot, because Demaglio doesn't have his ultimate, but Atlas does.
And no potions.
Yeah, but also look at the wave. Just how the wave is actually being pushed into the bot lane. You see that the blue side is pushing it a lot better.
There's already a 13 CS lead to Atlas, and he's gonna be getting this minion wave since it's larger, and Demaglio can't really walk up. A flash play by Thresh would seal his death, but here's a gank.
Got the package. That's going to be a Zac into the ball and going to be knocking up Atlas. That's also going to be the package. The slow and the burn going to be going on to the MF there. Jace is going to be channeling that TP, but does not end up finishing it off by over onto the flanks, maybe trying to look for a mini fight here. Swain noticing that there's 4 members of the ball lane, also going to be trying to go down there, but that's first tower going over onto the side of Off in the Shower.
And we get a throwback to the 2016 season. 4-man bots every game.
Heck yeah.
That would have been a 5-man if Consig hadn't canceled his TP.
Yeah.
But you know, good looks onto Off in the Shower. They're making sure they know that this is not a lane that they want to keep. Atlas is 100% stronger than Demaglio at this stage in the game, and they just want to get them out of that lane. Smart decision making from Off in the Shower.
Yeah, you were talking a lot about just itemizations in the first game. We were focusing on this Jinx just a lot. She's got that Runan's Hurricane, and with that pressure being taken off of her in that bot lane, she's going to have a very nice time just farming there.
Yeah, but it's going to be extremely difficult for her right now. Honestly, that lane is going to be pushing back, but there is almost a 30 CS lead to Atlas. That's not something you want.
And there's different things that you can definitely do on this Jinx here. You can either go into the bot lane or you can maybe go somewhere to apply some pressure, but that's all of the shot calling that really does need to come into play at game number 4. This is when the stakes are really high. If Off in the Shower wins, they go to a game number 5, but if Lee 8 wins, they go just home and they go farther and they progress into the playoffs just a little bit more. But we're going to be just taking a step back and we're just going to be looking at this game as a whole. We still have that dragon, which is the Wind Dragon, and this is something that both of these teams definitely want.
Yeah, especially for Off in the Shower, they do want the Wind Dragon to potentially stop those hooks from coming out. But
the Magic Conch going to be going in. The box is going to be dropped for him. B-Doom going to be getting hooked. That's going to be the ultimate coming out from Atlas, but that's going to be also the flash coming out from B-Doom. That's going to actually be the heal. Demaglio going to be going actually pretty hard. That's going to be Atlas being taking the slivers of health. He's also going to be getting exhausted. Rusty's going to be going in. That's the assault and battery. He's going to be getting a kill for himself. Can he get a second one? Yes, he can. That's going to be the Zac as well coming in, picking up a kill for himself. Can he find more? There's the minions going in onto Atlas. That's a double kill going for Zac here in this game. That was a 2-for-2 trade for both teams.
And the Magic Conch saving that fight. The hook onto Demaglio after the flash saved Atlas's life. Had he gotten that kill, Demaglio would have really been able to clean up Magic Conch and potentially would not have died.
It's Rusty. Close. Yeah. You're talking a lot about this bot lane, but also in this mid lane. These two laners have been fighting just forever and nothing's happening. There's both 0-0-0. But Blastona in the top lane being taken freakishly low. Consig, we've seen him snipe once. Can he snipe again? But he's just going to be clearing out that wave. He wants to deny that XP. Equalizer going to be going down from Blastone. He wants to save that wave. Consig going to be taking a tower shot. What is he doing? That's 2 tower shots. Blastone going to be picking up a kill for himself.
That was interesting. That was interesting. Consig definitely not respecting the Rumble, but also his build. He doesn't do enough damage right now. He is slightly behind. Going for a very, very defensive build with a Hex Drinker and then going into Edge of Night as his next item. It's a little surprising.
It's a little bit weird because usually we see the Youmu's come out first, but
yeah, Youmu's is definitely a strong pickup early on. The move speed as well as the lethality it gives.
Yeah, it's just like, do you want to prioritize a spell shield or do you want to prioritize movement speed? And I think if you are Jace, you would want to go for that movement speed, but Consig has his reasons. You also see the Magic Conch here in the bot lane wanting to find something for his own jungler. Your jungler is going to be escaping. You also see that Corky's over onto the side. He's got that package. He's going to be packaging into the fight. Magic Conch going to be getting zoned out by that. A lot of damage. Hook going to be actually missing. Bots being dropped down. Magic Conch being taken freakishly low. That's going to be the ultimate coming out from the Jinx. King Charizard as well going to be coming into the bot lane, doing as much damage as Swain usually does at this point in the game. That's going to be the ultimate as well going to be coming out. That's going to be the Rusty trying to keep Q into the fight, but that's going to be VR Consig trying to actually go into the bot lane, maybe trying to do some TP action. Not actually going to find that, though. Find Your Way going to be eating into that fight. Magic Conch being taken down by Fug Nuggler here. Rusty going to be using his Assault and Battery. Even though the exhaust was down, he's going to be getting that kill very freely. That's a 1-for-1 trade going over onto the side of both teams.
2-for-1, 2 for.
Oh, that's a 2-for-1. Blastona going to be getting that equalizer.
2 for 2, all said and done on that trade there.
Yeah, that was absolutely explosive. And just knowing that Blastona right now is 3-1, you do not want to be off in the shower.
No, you do not. Consig definitely throwing away the lead he accrued for himself.
Yeah.
He did get the first blood gold, and in all honesty, his build should have gone into a little bit more offensive, I feel. Not to take away from the player, but Blastona and Rusty did save Blastona from a very, very sad laning phase by ganking top lane.
100%.
You got to give credit to Rusty. He needs to be. He's been bot lane and he's been top lane, making an effect on both lanes.
You were talking a lot about that and how the jungler needs to go bot lane and top lane, but now you're going to see Bidu maybe actually getting caught out here. But you see Demario, he's going to get the exhaust dropped onto him, but you also see over onto the side that Zach is going to be charging that E, but getting spot out by a ward. Very good ward dropped by Thresh at some point. But that's a lot of damage going down over onto the bot lane of Off in the Shower.
Yeah. And this team can still even though they are down in kills, they are up in gold. A very small margin, only 100 gold really.
Yeah.
And it's mostly due to the fact of the CS leads. Again, there are very small CS leads for top and mid.
That's going to be a gank into the top lane by Fug Nuggler. Can they get a kill onto Blastona? Yes, they can. That's going to be a shutdown going on to Blastona. Amazing roam by this Corki. VR Consig going to be getting back into this game with that shutdown.
Definitely. And now they're going to get the first tower. Oh,
second tower.
But they are again. Second tower.
There you go.
But they first 2 towers for the team, and it leads to a 2K gold lead right now. And, they can keep pushing this down. There's no one to stop them.
No one's going into that top lane like you just said, and they have the items to actually take this top lane tower. Blastona, he's got 9 seconds on his respawn, and you just know how strong Fug Nuggler and VR Consig is here in this game. But you also got to take into factor that Blastona, he's got that TP. He can very easily TP if he wants to try and flank here. He has that equalizer, but you're going to see King Charizard. He's going to be trying to do something here to try and get a kill. You see VR Consig being taken very low, but that's King Charizard actually going to be dying. Find Your Way going to be going into this top lane. Smite, that's the kill for the Corki there in the top lane. That's a 2-for-0 trade, and that's absolutely beautiful for Off in the Shower. Demario going to be actually getting hooked. Magicon's not going to be going in onto it, though.
Yeah, 2 kills and 2 towers top lane, swinging the gold to a 3K gold lead. And before that started, we were talking that they had a 100 gold lead. It's just transferred to 3,000. Very good work by Off in the Shower. Bot lane still being a small weakness though.
Yeah.
With Demario being extremely behind in gold, CS, and kills as well.
But we saw this a lot last game, and sometimes as an ADC you want to just be behind and let the rest of your team just be ahead because you're that utility style ADC. And at this point, you're starting to see the item spikes finally show up for each of these teams. And you're seeing King Charizard, and he's trying to apply that pressure. Thing is, Fug Nuggler is playing it a little bit better.
Yeah, Fug Nuggler right now sitting at 7.5K gold total, with King Charizard only sitting at 6. So 1.5 gold lead right there. Around with a 1K gold lead for top lane.
Yeah, you also saw that Vi was trying to go into that mid lane to maybe try and get a gank off. VR Consig, though, going to be basically backing up his boy and saying, nah, you can't do anything there. Go back into your jungle, you filthy ape. But you're starting to see rotational play from both of these teams, and you're already starting to see that Off of the Shower. They got top lane, they got bot lane. There's only one option for them, which is mid lane.
Yeah, right now we see Atlas in top lane freeing up Off in the Shower to get this dragon with no AD carry there. As well as push down this mid lane. Rumble in the bot lane has TP, but the Jace poke coming out and the Corki poke gonna come out. They're just taking down this tower.
Ooh, the Magic Conch trying to go for a hook there. Not going to actually find it, though, onto
Yeah.
this Jace. But you're already starting to see that Elite 8 is going into that position where they can very well engage here in the mid lane. But you got the main engage, which is Blastona there in the bot lane trying to split push.
Yeah. And you see 3-2 right now, but I on it right in the mid lane. Wait a second.
Rusty gonna be getting caught out there in the river, but he's gonna be getting saved. But that's a double kill, the Super Mega Death Rocket. You've been taking out 2 members of Elite 8. Can she actually find her 3rd kill? Demaglio being shown up here. Blastona being taken freakishly low. That's gonna be the flash. B-Doom though saying, that's my kill, buddy. You've been taking all the kills. I want to kill at least. Getting a kill onto Blastona. That's going to be a 4-for-0 trade over onto the side of Off in the Shower.
Yeah, and it looks like this is going to be 2 towers in the mid lane. And here's that strong mid game that I was talking about earlier.
Yep.
Even though Consig did fall behind a little, Bug Nuggler comes top and covers up that weakness. And now they're up 5 towers to 0 right now.
And they're going to be sieging in onto this mid lane tower.
This draft from Off in the Shower is incredibly smart. Neither team seems to want to play the lethality 80 carries in Jhin or Varus. And it seems Demaglio on Jinx with no stronger 80 carries to sort of contest the fact Jinx's weaknesses is going to get free reign. He's going to get a free path to the late game. And, you know, they're drafting, Off in the Shower is drafting 2 strong mid-game champions both times into a strong late-game champion as well, giving them.
Yeah, go ahead.
It gives them the freedom to know that they can mess up a little in the early game, but still have the stronger mid-game and stronger late-game.
That's a lot of poke going down from both of these teams. Rusty going to be trying to find something over on the left side. He's trying to look for that assassin-style point, and that's exactly what he needs to do here at this point of the game. He needs to try and get an assassin-style play.
Yeah, I mean, he's only built the warrior enchantment, and, well, looks like they're going to try and engage. No. But he has only built the warrior, not going for the Trinity Force, and he's still very squishy, honestly. And package here for Corki.
Ooh. Corki's going to be trying to find something with this package. Let's actually see in a couple of seconds if he can maybe try and engage a fight. We usually see that from Corki from nowadays. He has that flash. He still has his Valkyrie, the main Valkyrie itself. Magic Conch's going to be finding a hook onto VR Consig. He's going to be getting rooted up. He's going to also be flashing out of that fight. He's going to be getting shut down. But Bug Nuggler, that's 1 kill going over onto him. B-Doom as well going to be taking kind of low. Find your ways. Going to be engaging the fight. That's going to be that ultimate coming out from that MF. Not going to be actually doing as much damage though. Find your way. Going to be picking up a kill for himself. That's a 2-for-1 trade going over onto the side of Off in the Shower.
Yeah, and Bug Nuggler getting honestly really lucky in there. Magic Conch missing the hook by a hair's breadth, and honestly, if that hook had landed, I don't think that Off in the Shower would have survived that fight.
Yeah, it was a very, very close fight overall, but this is the point where you have to ask yourself, what do you want to do to try and push your lead? And they're saying we want to do the Baron. This is a very risky call. There's no wards actually on it. Yeah, like you just said, Vi's actually going to be getting some suspicions. They're going to be going towards that, but she's going to be taking her Raptors. That's going to be the Baron going over for Off in the Shower. This is insane.
Brilliant shot calling from Off in the Shower.
They've
taken out all inner turrets, outer turrets, and now they have the Baron buff to siege onto these inhibitors. Honestly, the only way I feel that they're going to lose a team fight is if they group up and get Rumble Equalizer and MF ultied. And you know, it's honestly, it could happen still. We can't count out Elite 8, but a 9k gold deficit is.
That's scary.
It doesn't bode well for them.
Yeah, and here in this game, you got 25 minutes into this game in a very big gold league, like you were just saying. And now, when you are this team, when you do have a lead, like Off in the Shower does, what exactly do you want to do to try and close out this game? What is their next game plan?
Well, right here, Konsig's going for Rusty.
Yeah.
And he's gonna get this.
Ooh, he's going to be going into the top lane. He's going to be
this.
applying that slow 1-2, and that's going to be the kill onto VR Consig in the top lane. He's got that Rusty gold in his pocket. Find your way. Going to be trying to find something onto the Magic Conch here. He's going to be blast coning in place there. But you also see the amount of pressure that this team is putting is absolutely insane.
Yeah, Konsig gonna go top lane.
Ooh.
Oh, he's
That's
dead.
that ultimate coming out from MF, but you also see the Magic Conch and Fire Charizard is going to be getting taken out very early. Atlas is going to be getting stomped on by Find Your Way. He's going to be finding his way into the back line. You see Blastoni is going to be getting taken down. That's 3 kills going over onto Demoglio. That is going to be the game, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to game number 5.
Definitely. There's no way that they come back from this, and they're... Oh, interesting.
Find Your Way. What are you doing, buddy?
Oh, the surrender
that's gonna be the
coming
surrender.
out.
Holy moly, Rosenkin. This game number 5, dude. Reverse sweep, the dream is real.
Honestly, that game blew up. It went from 100 gold lead to 3K in the span of a minute and a half.
Yeah.
And that's just the story of the game. They went from 3K to 6K and then picking up a Baron right after. It was honestly incredible shot calling from Off in the Shower, and they can win this set now with the drafts. In all honesty, their drafting has definitely given them the advantage they need to win this game.
Yeah, we're gonna be heading into a game number 5. I told my friends, I was like, guys, don't worry, this is gonna be over at game number 3, but we're gonna be getting into a game number 5. The reverse sweep dream is real for Off in the Shower. Can Elite 8 close this game, or is the reverse sweep actually gonna be true to its name for Off in the Shower? Guys, we're gonna be heading to loading screen for just a little bit, but we're gonna be heading on to Champions League just after that. Just stay tuned, guys. We're gonna be right back.